I know I'm back pretty quick, but I wanted to remind you guys and let those of you know who don't know about the Easter Stitch this weekend with Fiber Talk. And so we're pretty excited. We are one of the sponsors for that, and I think we have the first hour, and we're giving away, I think, 15 kits and maybe one special one that I found that is a Dutch Street design kit. So I'm really stoked about that, and I really appreciate Gary and Vonna doing it. I know a lot of us are going to be quarantined at home, and it's just going to be a different kind of Easter weekend. So you'll have time to do all your church things in the morning and hopefully lunch, and then you can join us for a stitch in. I think even Mr. Ponder Everett's going to jump on there at some point, so that should be a lot of fun if I can talk him into it. But I wanted to preview some of the things that we are giving away, because we are giving away 15 kits, which is pretty fun. So the first one is, and it may not be first in their lineup, but the first one I'm going to show you is Mary Poppins. And Mary Poppins is, I think, I don't know if it might have been the first original design sampler that we did. And so it's done on banding. And we are kitting it up with this blue stripe banding. And we were inspired by the movie that came out last year. And so I really wanted to do something fun with it. And so the way we do our original designs here most of the time, I come up with the idea and I pass that off to Allie, and then she goes and she, like Picard would say, makes it so. So that's Star Trek reference there. But this is really fun. So in the kit, you'll get the banding, you will get the threads, and you'll get the chart. And the chart, the thing to know about our Sassafras Sampler chart, and I don't know if you know this, but Allie usually puts, upside down, sorry, usually puts a background with them that's really kind of cool and interesting. And this one happens to be a map of Old Town London. So pretty cool. And they all have something interesting on the background behind the model or the antique, whether they're reproduction or original designs. And typically on the back, you'll see our Sassafras Samplers logo. And these two little squirrels have a really neat story. I think I told it in one other video, but we saw a really great picture online of some squirrels, and we loved them. And we looked for the designer and couldn't find her for a while. And then I found her finally and sent her an email and asked her if she would do something custom for us for our design company. And her first response is, well, I really don't do that anymore, but she did. So that was fantastic. So that's where the squirrels came from. And she made us a custom little set of squirrels, and they hold a little sampler between them. So that's what that is. Really sweet. And they're two little friendses. You'll get the chart, of course. Now, our charts come in color. And if you don't like color, send us an email and we'll get you black and white. And if we don't get it to you quick enough, send another one. It's just crazy times right now, so forgive us for that. But so there are 3 Mary Poppins kits. And if you happen to want a different color banding, we do actually have this really cool ticked banding in green and a very light pink and a blue. So if you happen to win this and you want to change it up a little bit, let us know, and we'll take care of that for you. I think Vaughn is collecting the winners' names and sending them to us, and we'll contact you. But you can let us know, and we'll be happy to switch that banding out. So 3 of those Mary Poppins kits. And then we have another set of original designs, which are really pretty stinking cool, I think. Ugh. I don't think I brought the chart over with me. That's a bummer. Well, I'm going to tell you about it, and I'll inset it. But so the first one is called Spooky Shakespeare #1, or Fillet of a Finny Snake. And it comes from Macbeth. And so in Macbeth is a poem. And if you ever watched Harry Potter, you heard it in Harry Potter too. I think it's in the second Harry Potter movie. But Bull and Bake, Toil and Trouble, blah, 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 blah. So it's from Macbeth. You get the picture. And so what we did is another idea that Allie made happen, so I appreciate her for that. Um, we took the poem from Macbeth and we broke it into 4 parts. And so each part, Allie designed something from that part of it. So this one's filled with finny snakes. You've got the finny snake. And then each one is wrapped in a Scottish border. And so these Scottish borders, we actually pulled these borders from our Scottish samplers that we own. Most of them haven't been charted yet. In fact, we might have 1 or 2 charted that aren't released. I take it back. And we changed the colors to make it match the design. The samplers are on 32 count tin roof Zweigart base. So Weeks is just fabulous to work with, and when I've asked them to do a Zweigart base, they will do that for us. And so we have 32 count tin roof from Weeks Dye Works on a Zweigart base, which is really, really nice. And so there are 4, and each of the 4 has a little piece of another sampler. And if you were to collect all 4, then you would have a more traditional looking sampler. It also takes something from Macbeth. But if you collected all 4 charts, then you would have a little bit more traditional looking sampler. Also with a border from one of our Scottish samplers. So we're pretty excited about that. So this is the first one, and there will be 3 kits given away for this one with the threads and the fabric and the chart. So we're pretty excited about that one. And this one is in print. And if you don't win and you do want this one, and this is true for any of these charts, if you don't win and you do want them, they're available. Mary Poppins and Spooky Shakespeare are also available right now during the quarantine as PDFs. So if you don't win and you want the PDF, you can go out there and download the PDF, or you can buy the hard print. We're happy to get that out to you. So let me show you the fabric. This is a piece of the fabric. Really pretty. I love this stuff. Tin Reef is one of my favorite colors, along with Confederate Gray. Okay, and then the next one is Eye of Newt, Toe of Frog, Wool of Bat, and Tongue of Dog. So Allie did a great job with this one. I really wanted to stitch this model, and I started it, and then I lost it somewhere. And so she finished it. I just love this one. And again, this is a border from one of our real Scottish samplers that we changed the colors up in to make it match, and we adapted it to put it on here. So with this one, again, you will get the fabric and the threads, and this chart is brand new, by the way. So this is the premiere of Eye of Newt, is what we call this one. And it's not been to the printer yet. So we're trying to get it to the printer and back in time to get it out in the mail to you. You may end up just getting a paper copy or a PDF copy till we get it back from the printer if you win this one. But this one will come out from the printer, and it's also available right now on PDF if you want to go out and download it, or if you don't want it and you want to download it then. And this will give you the second part to that mystery sampler. So the mystery sampler is 4 parts, and each part on a chart. I think you got that. And it's also on 32 count tin roof, so we love that. All right, so that's 3 kits of Eye of Newt too. So let's see. That's 3 samplers that we're giving away, and 3 kits of each one. So we're up to 9. Now the next 2 are a little bit more traditional samplers. They are reproductions. And I bet I forgot to bring one of them out here. I went back there 3 times to get it. That's the way this thing goes. Anyway, so let me show you the one I do have. This is Marian Frame. And Marian Frame is a beautiful sampler. It's behind glass. This is the antique. Lots of you are stitching this one or have stitched it. I love this. Just love it. I think we got this one out around Valentine's Day this year. That's what it was meant to be because of the hearts. And it is a morbidity sampler, and if you're not familiar with those, they do usually have a verse on them that the little girl or little boy wrote or pulled from a verse in the Bible or something like that, that talks about the end of life, but they really are kind of celebrations of life. They really are, as you can see, they're all beautiful. Little kids back in that time period didn't always make it to adulthood, and there was a lot of death from different reasons. And so they were thoughtful about their life. And so these morbidity verses are them being thoughtful about their life and how it should be spent, and their death experience that they expected. This one is $17.96, and it's beautiful. This is a strawberry border around it. So this is strawberries. And these little birds have little strawberries in their mouths. So this is one of my favorites ever. And it does have an Adam and Eve. And it's got a really cool snake on it. The snake on this tree is just really cool. And then we did these little, before we ever published this, like a year and a half ago, we pulled out one of the flowers and we did a little card, an individual card. And so if you just want to stitch the flower, that little card is available, I think, online. It's a printed, it's not a PDF. And this one is not available in PDF, but you can buy it and kit it. And so with that one, you get the silk kit. And it's kitted with a Verissois or needlepoint ink. And I think we were kitting it with needlepoint ink for the purpose of the giveaway. And mainly because we have all the threads. Right now we're out of a number of Verissois. So we love them both. We carry the full line of needlepoint ink. And we carry most of the line of Verissois. So we're kitting out for the Easter stitch with needlepoint ink because we have all those. And you'll love it. Needlepoint ink are great silks. If you haven't tried them, it's a good time for it. The fabric for that is corn tassel. So really beautiful. And there's 3 of those kits. Now, if you happen to win that kit, and corn tassel is 37 count, and you don't want to stitch it on 37 count, you want to go to a lower count, it's a little bit easier to see and stitch, just let us know. We'll pop it over to a 30 count for you. We've got a 30 count Riverstone that's really pretty that we'll put it on. But if you don't tell us anything, it'll come on 37 count. Okay, so 3 of those are going to be given away. And then the other one is the one I'm going to have to go get. So hold on, I'll be right back. Hi, back. So Elizabeth Cooper, also known as Jesus Wept. Do I have it upside down? Today's the day for that. Sorry about that. So now when I did the video about this before, I was kind of fumbling on the date, but I don't know why. I didn't even look at the back of it. This came from the collection of Lorraine Moots, who is just a fabulous collector, and she's done some reproductions that were featured in Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly. Hair is in my face and I'm itchy from allergies. But she has written on the back that this is circa 1780 with a question mark. And so I think that was her estimation, that this is 1780. And I would agree with that. And it's very beautiful. And I know a lot of you got your kits this week. Most of the rest are going out tonight, tomorrow, or Monday. We've been cutting fabric like crazy. We've had to reorder the silks twice. So thank you for kitting it with us. This chart is a free download. So it's out there right now in PDF form. You can find it on our website. You'll find it on our homepage. If you go to Sassy Jack Stitchery, it'll come up to a page called New and News. And if you just scroll down below the coronavirus warnings, you'll see the download for this. So you can download it for free, but we are kitting it for you. So we're really excited about this. We charted this one 2 ways. So this sampler, all these little motifs in here, and the little, and you see how small it is. That's my hand. I do have a big hand, but it's not that big. Are stitched over 1. And then the border on it is over 2. And so if you want to stitch that way, you can do that. We are making kits for the over 1 version on a 30 count pecan shortbread is what we kitted on. It was a close match. It's really pretty. If you decide that you would, I think it was pecan shortbread. It might have been Riverstone. Sorry. It's out there. It's out there for purchase, and you can take a look. Sorry. It's, you know what's happened? This is Friday afternoon, or Friday night, actually, at this point. It's like, I think it's like 7 o'clock. Anyway, it's been a long week, a long day. So I apologize. Please feel free to correct me. So anyway, I know a lot of you guys are stitching this. If you're doing the over 1 version, we kitted it on 30 count to make it reasonable to see. And the legacy linen is just a really nice linen to be able to stitch over 1 on. we also charted it, so that's how it's originally done. We also charted it where we made it over 2. So all the center part, we recharted that to make them over 2, and we kept the border over 2, but we expanded it basically so that it would fit around a bigger stitched piece. So you also have the version in the same chart to stitch it over 2, and you can kit it that way. Now, for those of you guys who win this, there are 3 available. So for the 3 of you who win it, we'll contact you if you don't tell us, and you can tell us whether you want to stitch it over 1 or over 2. We're going to assume, if we don't hear from you, that you want to stitch it over 2. The over 2 kit is on 37 count corn tassel, which is the same linen that we showed you for Marian Frame. Now, yeah, this was both corn tassel. So we will make sure that you get the over 1 or the over 2 version. Now, either way, some people asked me this when they were ordering their kits. How many strands of thread? Now, this is also with Needlepoint ink silk that we kitted it. Well, whether you do it over 1 or over 2, you're still a single strand. So if you're stitching on 30 count over 1, because you're stitching over 1, you're going to be using a single strand. If you're stitching on 37 count over 2, because you're on 37 count, you're going to be using a single strand. So if you downloaded this and you just weren't sure, it's a single strand of silk or DMC if you're using DMC. So there's 3 of those to give away. So that is 15 kits, my friend, 15 kits. And of course I didn't bring the one special one, so I'm going to go get that and I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm back. So, my video thing on this computer does a countdown. That's why I did that scared face. It counts down. I've never had a countdown before. It's really weird. So Claudia Dutcher is a friend. I love Claudia. I've traveled with her. She is a wealth of information, especially on perforated paper or bristle samplers. So we hosted her in October last year, and she did an incredible retreat for us. So thank you, Claudia, for that. But Claudia has done a lot of other designing too, and so this is one of her table toppers, and it's a tulip table topper. And I'm sure that I bought this back in the day because I lived in Holland for a while, and I worked over there for a good while. And so this comes actually with the Afghan material and with all the threads, along with the chart. So, I hate that it's allergy season right now. And I found this in my stash, and as much as I would like to stitch it, I haven't stitched it in many a moon, and I know that she's not making these anymore, and she may have a little bit of stock left, but I know that Gary loves Claudia. I think they came down for the Bristol retreat. I think that's when he and Bono were here, actually, it was. So I thought this will be a great little bonus giveaway. So I haven't told Gary about it yet. So I will let him know. But this is another one that you guys can win. And I hope you love it. It's just really pretty neat. So there's that. And that really is all of our giveaways for Sunday. So just know that we appreciate you. And we appreciate you, just the outpouring of support and love and, orders that you've given us the last few weeks while we've been closed. It just meant the world to me. One of you sent our staff some masks that you made in the middle of this week, and I have to tell you, that was just it. Andrea and I work here by ourselves these days for the most part, and we were both just overwhelmed. We love those things, and they were so thoughtful. And so, you know who you are out there who sent them to us. Thank you very much. I appreciate that so much. I do go to the post office every single day here, and that's like the scariest part of my day. Fortunately, I know a lot of you out there have a lot scarier things you're dealing with right now, so we're thinking about you with that. But thank you for that. And then another friend who I've traveled with and who I love and have loved for a long time sent me this cryptic note, I think in the beginning of the week, and asked me what size shoe I wore and not to ask why. Okay. so so I told her what size shoe I wore, and then I went on with the week. And then yesterday something showed up from Maine, and I thought, what's coming from Maine? And it was an LL Bean box, and I was like, I didn't order anything from LL Bean. And then it dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute, that's a present. And so it's these really fabulous scuffs. So they're wool with fur on the inside, and they have this amazing embroidered squirrel on the toe. And so I just love that. And I'm not telling you this because I want you to send me something. I don't. I'm telling you this because it just made my week. It made me feel so connected to my friends out there. And that's what we're missing right now. And so, if you have a chance, don't send me anything. But if you've got a friend out there that you can share a little something with, I don't care what it is. If it's a card, if it's a text, if it's a note, if it's a chart, a piece of thread that you think they would like, anything. Now's a great time to be doing the small things that make us feel loved and connected. It's hard. I don't care, what we try to tell ourselves. It's no fun. So, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It can be just, I was thinking about you kind of thing. It can just be an email or a note. I've gotten so many notes from you guys that just mean the world to me. I appreciate that. So thank you for that. But anyway, I thought that was neat. I love the squirrel scuffs. So I was sporting those around the house last night. I did bring them in today. I was going to show them to you, but I forgot them. Just like I forgot everything else when I came up here. But I don't want to wear them outside. I want to keep them. so it's pretty funny watching me scuffle around in them at home. So that's all that fun stuff. So a couple business things. This is a re-release from Blackbird. I think we had some of these up until really recently, but anyway, this is back out, and we do have plenty of these if you decide you need it. Sweet Land of Liberty. I don't think it's on the website, but it will be by the time you see this. So that's cool. It's a neat book. I look at it. I'll show it to you a little bit, but it's got some nice stuff in there. The other one that we still have a lot of, we've sold out of this and gotten it back in, and sold out and gotten it back in, is the Sewing Club. So we sold a ton of these, and I know a lot of you have it now, but if you need this, hit us up. We've got plenty of these. This one down here is on a really cool box that you can order from the maker, actually. She was coming to the Stitch Retreat, the Primitive Stitchers Retreat, and that got canceled. So she sold some online, but it says in the book, I want to say it's Teresa's Primitives. I'm going to say it wrong, and I apologize because I'm a goober. Teresa's Primitive Treasures at teresasprim@yahoo.com. And she's also at Teresa's primtreasures.etsy.com. And I'm sure I could buy it and get it shipped here and then ship it to you, but she'll sell it to you. Right now, with everything that's going on, it's nice to give the money straight to the maker. So order that from her. This is a picture of it. There's another design in here that I want to tell you about that I actually really loved. Let's see if I can find it and show it to you without showing the chart. I think I just bought this book because I put a crease in it. Is this drummy? I love this drummy. I love this drummy. It's called A Bit of Summer, and it's on a fabric called Sanguine. And so I talked to Weeks this week, and they are going to dye that color for me on a Weeks Dye Works swagger base, rather than just the regular Weeks Dye Works. So I know a lot of you like that tighter weave on the swagger base, and that's okay, especially if you're stitching a big piece for sure. But it's a really pretty design. I don't know if there's a full picture of it. I feel like there must be in here somewhere. Because you could actually frame that if you didn't want to make it into a drum. I don't see it. But the chart is very pretty. And if you didn't want to make it into a drum, you could just, frame it. But I'm going to make it into the drum. I likes it. So, anyway, got lots of those charts. So, that's the business stuff. Now, before you guys start dropping like flies, I want to show you this piece. I've showed it to you before, and it hangs in our shop right behind the register. And this is the first design that we charted as a shop, and we gave it away in our very first newsletter. So it's out there in the newsletter. I will upload it again and put it on our homepage. I found this antique, the gold part that wasn't in this outer frame, but this gold part in an antique shop here. I was looking at an old drafting table, and just happened to look over to my left, and there it was. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's perforated paper, so it's really cool. You can stitch it on perforated paper, or you can stitch it on linen. Doesn't matter either way. If you stitch it on perforated paper, right now we don't have anything that's this small. This is probably like a 22 count. So if you want to get it small like this, you're going to have to stitch it on linen. But it says, the oceans wide between us roar, though distant be our lot. Though should I never see thee more, dear friend, forget me not. And I'm showing it to you again now because I'm all about friendship right now. And I just think it's just a really sweet sentiment. And I'm going to stitch it, and you could stitch it from Stash. The chart is out there. It's free. And, you know, make it a commemorative piece. And this is one of those things you could send to a friend if you wanted to. Or give it to them afterwards with a big old hug. But anyway, I just love this. It's really simple colors. Now, the cool part about this one is what's on the back. So this was stitched in 1849. Well, how do you know that? Because it says so. So it's got the original inscription on this beautiful paper that was pasted to the back of the frame. And so, of course, we kept that. And that's why we framed it the way that we did, where it's kind of a frame inside of a frame. And I still haven't taken the time to do the research. Clearly, one of these women was local because it ended up here. I don't know about the other one, probably not. But 1849. So, this one's near and dear to our heart. We set the tone of what we wanted the shop to be about in our first newsletter with this one. You know, we always meant for our shop to reach out to people. These cool little eye hooks on the top were on the original frame. I had her save that, so we took them off and put it on this frame. So it used to hang with these, and these are the originals. So anyway, you know, we love you guys. We do, and we appreciate your support. And this is a time to remember our friends. So near or far, and that's the way. That's the tone I wanted for the shop. So there's that. So and then, you know, there's the needlepoint thing. So we've been talking about that, and a lot of you guys have asked me about that. I've got a whole stack of stuff here, and I know I'm zipping through this stuff pretty fast. This is my little teaching folder. I've taught this beginning needlepoint class in here a whole bunch of times. And it is a Michael Boren thing, and you can download it. And if you join our class, I'll send you the link for it, where you can download it, or I'll send it to you, or whatever, along with our other teaching materials. But the one that we're going to do that's, you know, basically a free class is called Boxed Heart. And Michael has it out there for free. And it's a fun teaching piece. And it doesn't have basket weave in it, but I do teach you basket weave as the first stitch. And honestly, you know, I heard Vaughn and Gary talking about it. I have always believed that basket weave is the hardest stitch to learn in needlepoint, and it really is. And that's not to scare you. It's the basic stitch that's used as background on a whole lot of things, and that's why you need to know it. But if you look at this chart, you'll see that around this heart, this is called a Rhodes heart. It's empty canvas. But when I teach it, and when I did mine, I filled it in, and I filled it in with basket weave. So right around here is your basket weave. So I used greens. See if you can see it. I use greens for mine. And I use a fabric called watercolors, which is actually what Michael recommended when he charted it. And in this class, you will learn several different stitches. You're going to learn basket weave. You're going to learn how to do a Rhodes heart, and if you don't like the heart, I'm going to teach you how to do a Rhodes box. So all the guys who have done this class, most of them have wanted to do the box, which is fine. And then you have got a Scotch Stitch. I think that's what it's called. Let me just check to make sure I'm saying it right. Of course, it's not on this chart. It is a Scotch Stitch. So Scotch Stitch is super easy. And then you've got a Waffle Stitch, which is what these cool little layered stitches are right here. And I know you can't see it all that great. The cool thing about this one is you pick your own color. And you see how tiny this little canvas is. Now mine, because what I do is I demonstrate on another piece. So this is my little demo piece. I don't know how I got this red on here. I don't know how I got the red on there. I don't even know what that is. That's kind of wonky looking. But you see how many times I've stitched that heart? Oh, that's the back. Sorry. See how many times I've stitched that heart? And I've stitched it more than that too. So there's 4 on there, and there's a big box. So this is the box that if you don't want to do the heart, you can do the box. And this is half of a box, which is kind of fun. And then that's the Waffle Stitch there. So anyway, good fun stuff. So to do this, you don't really need a lot. I'm going to give you 2 pieces of canvas because the goal would be that you finish this and that you then put a back on it. And that's where a lot of people have used the basket weave. Somebody did basket weave on the whole back, and somebody did something else. But basically, I'll teach you how to finish this into a little pocket. And then the pocket, that's why you need the second piece of canvas. The pocket can be a scissor keep. It's the perfect size for a little scissor keep. So, you know, if you don't want to do that, you can frame it. But I like to make things utilitarian if possible. We've all got so much frame stuff. But you'll learn, you know, some needlepoint basics, and you'll learn a few specialty stitches. This stitch on the side is called a knitted braiding stitch. It's a real pain in the behind. So I will teach it to you, but I will also teach you an alternative because it's just hard to do. I don't know why. It looks pretty, but it's kind of a pain. It has to do with how you count it and being able to see it, and it's fun. It's hard to do for a beginner anyway. So you'll have instruction, and I'll show it to you, but I'll also give you the option to do something a little bit more straightforward since it's your first piece. But I will tell you, everybody I've taught in this class has finished this thing at just about. I think everybody's finished it, actually. Everybody's done that braided stitch on the side, too. Doesn't mean that you have to. But, so, soon, maybe this weekend, I'll get the option put on the side for you to sign up for this. And you're just going to get 2 pieces of canvas, and you're going to get a watercolor thread. And this is the watercolor thread. Now, if you decide that you want to stitch the whole back, you're probably going to need 2 skeins. But if you just want to stitch the front, you just need 1. And so I'm just going to sell the kit with 1. 2 pieces of canvas. Actually, I'll send you 3. I'm going to send you 3 pieces of canvas because you need 1 to practice on, 1 to stitch on. And then if you decide to do the back, you need the other one. So I'll send you 3 little pieces of canvas. You really don't need stretcher bars for this. It's so tiny. You don't need stretcher bars. You could, but you don't. But you do need your thread. So I'll give you options of watercolors that you can pick. And the beautiful thing about the watercolors is that they variegate. So you can see how 1 thread changes colors throughout this. So you just need 1, and then it'll variegate. And so 3 pieces of canvas, a needle, and a skein of watercolors. Now, if you, like, say you love it and you decide to do a second one on that second piece of canvas, or you decide to do it back and make it into a little pocket, then you'll need probably more thread. I don't think anybody's been able to do it with just 1. So bear that in mind. You might have to order another one, but that's okay. I'm not going to assume that you're going to do the back because a lot of people won't. You're just going to be learning on the front. So that's that. Now, having said that, that is our beginner needlepoint class that we teach in the shop. This is the intermediate needlepoint, and this is in yellow. Now, yellow is not my favorite color. The beauty about this class is that you learn some more specialty stitches, and you pick your own colors, which is pretty stinking cool. Again, you pick your own color, and there's several different types of fibers in here. And so on this one, we might do this one online too. It might be a little later because I don't have this one set up to do online, but it could easily be done. But, you know, this one is fun. We definitely teach it in the shop. You've got several different types of fibers, so you get to play with different types of fibers, all in the same color family, and you learn several different stitches, and it's easy. It's like a log. It's almost like a log cabin quilt, like here in the middle part. So you quilters out there, you can see that. And you can pick your color, so it doesn't have to be yellow. Allie stitched this for me, and I will tell you this. This is the very first needlepoint piece that Allie ever did. And I needed the model for the class. I literally, it was at the end of a day, probably a Friday, and I think I spent about maybe a minute and a half talking her through this thing, gave her the instructions, sent her home with it, and she finished it up, no problem. So you can do this. You can definitely do it. And, you know, this one will be a little more of a kit cost when we do this one because you've got all the fibers and stuff. But the other one, I don't know, it won't be very much. The thread for it is $4.50, and then we've got 3 pieces of canvas and a needle. So no big deal on this one. So later we'll talk about this, but I wanted to show you, these are all counted canvas needlepoint. There's also painted canvas needlepoint. Here's a needle. I think I did this on another video because it came out of my, because like I tell people not to do, I think I had it in, no, it was on this thread. I didn't have it stuck on the canvas. I had it on this thread. Also not the best idea. Let's see if I can get it back on there real quick. I know what I was doing with this red thread. This is, it's a variegated DMC, and we were testing it out for, there was a guy that came in here that taught kids, high school kids, and we were testing it out to see if you could do it with DMC, so that it would be a reasonably priced class for his high school kids. So that's what that red thread was. Not that you need to know all that, but it surprised me. Okay, I want to show you some other ones. By the way, this is also from Michael Bourne, who taught me how to needlepoint when I was probably mid-30s. This is another one. I love this one. I think this is called Appalachian something. We sell this chart, and we can kit it for you. But this would be like the next level. This would be like level 3. And you can see this one has got some basket weave behind these other squares. And this is layering. So you get to use lots of different fibers. You learn some new stitches. And you layer stuff on top. And it's just turned out really beautiful. I did this when I was living away from home. I think I was living in Raleigh, which is not, it's 4 hours from home. But everywhere I've ever lived, and when I lived in Raleigh, I lived overseas a few times too while I was there. So I lived in a few different places overseas for my work. And I always missed home. And this reminded me of home because it is that Appalachian colorway. And he may have called it Shenandoah because he's from Virginia. So, but anyway, I love this one. So we do actually have this chart as well. But I'm showing you these so you get an idea of counted needlepoint because you're going to be doing some of that, whether with us or with Fiber Talk. And this one is one of the, I think this one is Daphne Reborn or Daphne. I love greens and blues, greenish blue. This colorway is called Olive, I think, or Kelp, one of those two. The cool thing about Michael's charts, most of them, is that you get to pick your colorway. So on the back, he's got like at least 6 different colorways, and you pick the one that you want to do, and then you get the kit for that. So this will probably be the, level 4, the more advanced one. A lot of fun. I love doing this because it is, it's just relaxing to me. I love counted needlepoint. I'm not a big fan of painted canvas, but I really love counted needlepoint. And I really love all of Michael's stuff. And I've got some other ones. I wanted to find my favorite one of my big ones, which is a Frank Lloyd Wright inspired one. And I just didn't have time this morning to find it. But I will show you that one. So, fun stuff there. So, if you're not, well, you probably haven't signed up yet because I haven't put the kits out there. So, sorry about that. Royal Garden from Debbie Rowley is the kit, the chart that we're going to stitch together on Fiber Talk. We're going to start it on July the 5th, which is Vanna's birthday, and stitch that together. And we are sponsoring that. We're really excited about it. We are kitting for you, and we are offering a 15% discount on the kit. I will get those out there. I got a lot of the inventory in this week. I just need to price out the rest of it and get it in for the threads and things like that. So let's say I will be able to figure that out by the end of the weekend. So by the time that we have the Easter stitch in, I'll have the pricing out there for you where you can go ahead and order that kit. I just want to make sure I can get it all without any issues and don't have to make any substitutions and so on and so forth. So most of it's here. We'll get the rest of it in. You just have to be really conscious of those things right now. You can't just assume because a lot of places just aren't shipping. So there's that. One other thing I wanted to talk to you about is Hardanger. So Vaughn is really interested in Hardanger right now, which is kind of fun, and Gary likes Hardanger. I don't have my box here, but I'm going to find it before I do the next video. Susan Greening Davis taught me Hardanger and some really beautiful pulled work, and I've talked to you guys a little bit about Schwalm work. I learned that from Lizina Happel in Germany. I've been there 3 times to study with her. I've learned a little bit about Hedebo from a woman called Yuda who passed away last year. Really sad to lose her, but she was great. We went to Denmark and learned from her. So, Hardanger is wonderful. I'm going to talk to you about Hardanger. There is a book. I'm going to show it to you guys, and I know some of you probably own this book. I was unpacking some of my stuff. My honey brought my books upstairs for me, and we got it. So this is an old book. I have a feeling it's out of print, and that hurts my feelings. It hurts my heart. In fact, this was not my book. Somebody gave me this book actually, because it's got an inscription in it from one person to another, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I didn't buy this book. I think it was given to me. But this is a Janice Love book. And she made 2 that I know of. Fundamentals Made Fancy. And I think she did one called 101. And I think I've got it too. And I might have bought it myself new. But these are the best books for Hardanger. And if any of you guys know if I can still find these books, you let me know. I'm going to be poking around looking for it. And I'm sure that there are some others, but we'll figure that out. But what I wanted to mention is this year I was supposed to launch some Hardanger projects and teaching on Hardanger, and I didn't get it done. Lots of other things clearly going on. But what I did get done is I got all the threads brought in and ordered that we wanted to use. So Hardanger, you can do it with pearl cotton. Most people use pearl cotton, but there's a really great option is linen thread. And so I brought in the full line of linen thread from Access Commodities, and I'm drawing a blank. Londonberry linen, and we brought it in all the colors and all the sizes, the full line. And we will be teaching some intro to Hardanger at some point using that. So go poke around on the website and take a look at that linen thread. I'll also use it to lace. I love that stuff. So I'm going to be showing you guys a lacing demonstration for those of you who take Mabel Toque with us, because we're going to be lacing Mabel at the end, or I am. I'm going to show it to you. And that's what I would recommend for that. And I also use that linen thread to kit out the white work part of it. There were 2 threads required for the Queen's Stitch sampler that we were doing with Vanna and Gary. And it called for a fiber that's kind of hard to get from DMC and a pearl. And I spent some time working with the owner of Access Commodities and one of her designers that she knows who is a specialist in that kind of, pulled work and embroidery. And they recommended a silk goblin and a linen thread, and it's stunningly beautiful. And we perfectly matched it to the linen, which is a Russian tea cake, 37 count Russian tea cake. So, I think I've got 1 or 2 open orders for kits for that. So if you guys are watching, I apologize. We're missing some threads right now. We're trying to get them in for you. And I think we filled out all of our other kits. And we even have the gold miliary thread that Queen sampler calls for right now. So, which was really hard to get. We had to wait months for that, but we've got that. So, if you don't have your gold miliary for the Queen Sampler and you want that, you need to reach out to me. We'll get you that. And if you want to kit it out, Gary and Vanna are still working on it. I'm still working on mine. It's not a fast stitch, really. And so you got plenty of time to catch up and stitch it with us. So, the linen thread is great for that too. So, I know I'm all over the place. The main goal was to get you through the things that are going to be in the Easter stitch. And then I wanted to show you some of the needlepoint stuff. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about heart anchors. So we did that. Thank you for the response on the project cards. I'm going to pull one of these squirrel cards out. So this is the one that we have going right now. This is the 2020. And this is from Dutch Street Designs, M.H. Smith. And, I posted one on Facebook this week and asked for feedback. And I got lots of feedback. Most of you loved it. A few of you didn't. And I appreciate all the comments on it. We moved forward with it. We sent it to the printer today. And, it's going to be free. I'm not selling them. I'm giving them away, that you can use, for your projects between now and whenever we get released from quarantine. So, if you need more than the one that you get in your project, let me know. We'll get them to you. But, they're giveaways. They're not purchased. And we give this one away. I mean, you can buy this one too in packs of 10, but we also give them away. But this one's a limited edition. After this year is over, this one will be gone. So if you like this Bristol Squirrel, now's your time. So, anyway, sorry. I probably shouldn't do these on a Friday night. I appreciate you hanging with me and let me go run and get stuff. But I guess I'll leave you with this friendship sampler again. I love this one. So, the oceans wide between us were, the distant be our lot, though should I never see thee more, dear friend, forget me not. So, we'll see each other again, I know it, online and hopefully in person. And hopefully those of you who haven't gotten here yet will get here before the long day is done. But go download this one. Stitch it, show it to me. I'd like to see what you do with that. And anyway, have a good weekend. See you back soon. Bye.